Hello everyone. So yeah, super happy to be here today. Thank you so much, Jennifer and Patrick, to be here with us today. So as Christophe explained, today is all about what data and AI can bring to the sports industry. So it made a lot of sense to have companies such as Sorare and Statsperform to be here with us, since your companies and the services you provide are totally built upon data. So thanks again for being here with us today. Jennifer, maybe if we start with you. So I'm sure everyone here has already heard or even used Sorare, but could you maybe explain us a bit more what you do at Sorare, what are the services you provide, and what is your vision on the fan experience?
Merci Matthieu. Hi everyone. Pleasure to be here. So let's talk about Sorare for a minute and what we do and how our ambition was basically to renew how fans can engage with their favorite sports and athletes. So Sorare is a French-based company. We're founded in 2018, so we're 6 years old now. And basically Sorare's one ambition is how you can interact with your sport and your favorite athletes using new technology. So we do basically two things. The first thing you can do on Sorare is buy collectibles, so like sport cards. And the way we do that, we actually use the blockchain to issue those NFTs. So basically, those are 3.0 version of Panini cards that you used to have when you were kids. And you can collect those cards. They have different utilities. One utility is just like use them as a collectible because they're beautiful, they're unique, and you own them. That's thing number one. And it's how actually we make revenues, and to be able to issue those cards, we negotiate IP rights with major partners around the globe. So as of today, you can basically buy cards for basketball and for soccer mainly. So we have negotiate rights with the NBA and major soccer clubs and leagues around the EU and around the globe. So that's basically the first thing we do. And the other thing is basically we also provide a fantasy game on our platform. So once you have owned those cards, you can also make your own team. And based on the performances of your athletes on the field, you can win rewards such as jerseys, so real life stuff. Jersey, spend a day with Mbappe or Zidane, go to watch a game. So basically, why Sorare is here, it's, as you have understood, to enable the game to work. We actually use data. We use a lot of data, and this is where Patrick comes into play. We use a broad set of data, not only like the number of goals, for instance. We use all the data you can imagine on the field. So how long a player has played with the ball, number of yellow cards, number of red cards. And based on all this data, we're able to basically score your team and see how you can score in the championship. So data are key. As of today, we haven't used generative AI or like really complex tools to use those data. But as you can imagine, it's a really potential for us going forward. So back to you, Matthieu and Patrick.
So yeah, so basically it's all about data. If you want to build a game around sports, real life sports, you need to be able to collect all the data possible linked to the sport and to be able to deep dive into it and work with it to bring a real life fan experience. So Patrick, maybe, so you work at Statsperform as a data specialist. Could you tell us a bit more about what Statsperform do and what type of services that you provide to companies such as Sorare, but also to other actors in the industry?
Yeah, absolutely. So at Statsperform, so you may not have heard of us, but you may have heard of our data brand Opta. Okay, so if you've ever Googled a score, PSG are playing, you Google a score, you've ever thought where that data comes from? Well, we provide that. You ask Amazon Alexa or Apple Siri a sports question, we provide that. If you play the great game at Sorare, we provide data to businesses like that. If you watch Canal Plus or Amazon Prime, we provide those insights. So betting houses all use our data, broadcasters and teams around the world use our data. So we have humans collect that data, but also we use computer vision to collect that data. We created expected goal value about 10 years ago. If you're watching a broadcast and you see Thierry Henry on Amazon Prime talking about who's going to win the Premier League or the Serie A, we provide those predictions. If you watch rugby, we have the kick predictor there. And so we use AI to actually help collect that data and scale that. And we're very excited. You probably haven't heard of us, but you touch us every day if you do anything with sport.
Okay, that's really great to understand. So basically, that means that you are at the core of the data industry footprint, and everything the usual companies that the public knows of, who brings data to their customers, to their fans, basically somewhere in the middle, there's either Statsperform or one of your competitors who's been at the beginning of the history and who's been able to generate this data and provide it in a usable way to one of these companies. And so, Jennifer, you said that you do not use yet generative AI, but do you have any plans of using it in the future? And what are the trends, the major trends that you foresee for your company?
So as you have understood, the first thing we need is like really data to basically run the game. So to be able to score the teams. So that's very basics, I will say. But to ensure we're able to make the game more challenging and more interesting for players, we will need to be able to use those data in a different way. So again, I think that's definitely trend number one is like the set of data and the way we use it in the game to make the game evolve over time will be key. Because as we have understood, it's not like a betting product where you say, okay, this game will be, PSG against another club, and the final result will be A or B, right? That's not what the game is about. The game is about managing a team, be able to identify key players that are not like basically good today, but maybe will perform in the future. So it's really to become your own manager and perform as a team manager within the game. So it's not only the statistic of the results of the game, is much more broader. And this is really what we offer at Sorare. So again, I think the way we use data to make the game interesting for users and gamers, that's thing number one. The other thing is, in connection to what I just explained, is not only sport data, but gaming data. So basically, how gamers perform in the game, those data, which are different in nature, are also super useful for the gamers to perform over time. So we have actually it's not owned by Sorare, it's called Sorare Data. It's an independent website where you can have results of gamers' experiences. And those data will also be probably useful in the future, and we'll need to use them. The other challenge in coming ahead is regulation. As you may have heard, what we do is actually probably going to be regulated in the coming months and years. And so we'll have to also share in-game data with regulators. And the way we do that, we're probably going to have to use new tools. So I think those trends are basically our main focus right now.
Okay, and what's the name of the website again? The one
Sorare Data.
Okay. Maybe I'm going to check it out because I've been quite unsuccessful at playing the game so far. Patrick, you mentioned AI. I don't know if the way you predict expected goals leverages AI or not, but do you have a few examples of how you use data right now, and how do you plan on using it in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been pioneers in the AI space. So we've been collecting tracking data. So in the NBA, we had our first computer vision system in the NBA in 2010, went NBA wide in 2013. We've been using computer vision to collect player tracking data for the last decade or so. We've been collecting tracking data here in the Serie A for a very long period of time. And more recently, what we've been doing is a big paradigm shift. So collecting data, tracking data, in sport has been around for a long period of time, but it doesn't scale. So you can get cameras in venue, but to go to the women's league or the lower leagues or to go back in time, it's very hard. So over the last 5 years, we've pioneered this technology to actually get tracking data from the video that you and I watch at home. And more recently, we've been using generative AI to actually fill in the missing gaps. So if you watch a soccer game, half the players are out of view. And sometimes when they have a close-up, all the players are out of view. So think of OpenAI Sora, text to video. Our event data is our text, and the video is tracking data. So we're able to actually fill in the missing gaps. So it's pretty cool. We showed Sam Altman this, and then he said, now this is cool, right? So we're using generative AI to actually collect a lot of data. We're actually using it to actually do very accurate player predictions. So it's not only sport, we're using this cutting edge stuff. It's been used in biology to predict drug targets to help people with diseases. We're actually doing it to accurately predict what a player's going to do in a match. But also generative AI is the great enabler. Okay, so we see this panel's about fan engagement. People are smart, they know sport, they have the questions, they know what questions. So instead of just having technology for teams, why can't we have it for 1 billion people at home? So think of ChatGPT for sport. If you use ChatGPT for sport, it's not that good. It hallucinates, it makes stuff up, there's knowledge cutoff. But you need differentiated data because sport is live and dynamic. So what we've been looking at, especially the last couple of years, is actually enabling people to ask questions. It's either text or actually visual prompting. So imagine if you can draw a play or drop in a video and it can actually do the analysis for you. So we are B2B. You probably haven't seen it from us, but you'll probably see it from our customers, and very excited because sport is really, really interesting. It's fine-grained, multi-agent, adversarial, DeepMind are doing stuff in this space. I think it's one of the most interesting things out there, and sport is such a power of good. We saw it with the Olympics here. You know, it's one of the shared experiences, and it's a great vehicle to learn as well. So, yeah, we've been doing it for a very long period of time, but it's only going to get better, and it's just going to scale, and so people can do the analysis for every game that's ever been played across all sports, and that's very exciting from our point of view.
So it helps you on both sides. So the data creation on one side and the data insights consumption on the other.
Yeah, so data generation and also data utilization. And
okay.
So that's where generative AI can really be used and really democratize analysis, but also leverage government bodies to actually have their private data and put that in. So that's the next wave, enterprise generative AI. Not just generative AI, because we're hitting a wall. You've probably seen that with what ChatGPT and Gemini can do, but it really needs to lean into differentiated data.
All right. Okay. And so where do you feel that we are currently in terms of, if you imagine the generative AI wave, for example, do you think we are just at the beginning of the story, or do you think we are pretty advanced and there's just a few incremental
I think we're at we're ushering in the next wave. Okay, so I think we're at a saturation point on what we can do with public data. So what we can do from data which has been scraped off the internet, and there's not much more that you can do with it. Now, data is the fuel to do anything in AI, and you need to have differentiated data. And sport is enterprise because it has differentiated data. So I think you'll see a lot of innovations, not only in sport. I think you'll see it in transport. I think you'll see it in weather. I think you'll see it in biology. That's the next wave. So if you want to invest in those type of things, you know, that's my suggestion. But it's all about data wherever you have differentiated data, whether it's robotics. We're seeing Waymo in the US, you know, having robo-taxis as well. Where you have differentiated data, fine-grained data, you're going to do great things. But if you haven't got that, it's very hard to progress any further.
Okay. And when you see like companies such as Sorare that are using all the existing data sets available on the market, you are only 6 years old, you told me, Jennifer. So with only 6 years of existence, like we can see the wide variety of the fan experiences that you're able to provide. So if we imagine right now the next wave that Patrick mentioned, I think it's quite exciting for the future to come.
200%. And it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation because like you listening to you, I was like, okay, I haven't thought about generative AI to kind of create those new data that we don't have actually already baked on the field. So much more to come, and sure, it's definitely a way to improve the game and provide a new fan experience for our users. So super exciting.
Yeah, I think you're sitting on a gold mine. You have that data and you can just hyper-personalize for your users or whatever domain you're in. I think that's the great opportunity here.
All right. Okay, so thank you again for sharing your testimonies today. We'll stay in the area for a while, so if you want to deep dive more into these topics with Jennifer or Patrick, do not hesitate to reach them. Thanks a lot.
Merci, Matthieu.
And Matthieu, you can stay on stage.